The Knights Templar are famous for their search and defense of the Holy Grail. Otherwise known as the Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ and the Temple of Solomon, or the Order of Solomon's Temple, the Templars were a Christian group made famous for their exploits during the Crusades of the 12th century. The Knights Templar were a monastic order of knights, nobles, non-noble sergeants, and chaplains. It was the knights who wore the brilliant white mantles, symbolizing their chastity and purity. They were the most visible branch of the order. Below the knights were the sergeants, the backbone of any military unit. The sergeants were drawn from non-noble families, but were often highly skilled builders, blacksmiths, and professional soldiers. The chaplains were ordained priests who cared for the Templars' spiritual needs. The Templars were created, it is said, to protect pilgrims on their journey to the Holy Land. All of the order wore the famous Red Cross. Renowned for their search for the secret treasures of the Holy Land, the Knights Templar also became the bankers and moneylenders of the Christian Middle East. It is said that the Knights Templar were in the Holy Land seeking the treasures and gold of King Solomon, the biblical king famed for his construction of the mighty temple. Of course, the search for wealth and riches would not have been far from the minds of the nobles and knights of the Templar order. However, it might have been a far more significant treasure that some members of the organization were seeking. But what treasures could be greater than that of an ancient king who was in touch with God? A king renowned for his gold and wealth. This treasure is the wealth of the spirit. It is the richness of the soul and the gold of the human nervous system at its full bioelectrical potential. The true riches brought back from the Holy Land by the Knights Templar may not have been physical treasures at all, although they were no doubt acquired, but spiritual, esoteric, and energetic ones. The Templars returned with gems and jewels of knowledge, an ancient and sacred wisdom about the human body, Mother Earth, and the celestial sphere. This wisdom confirmed the true, ancient, energetic, and animistic roots of Christianity. This ancient wisdom, shared by the Gnostics, Essenes, and Cathars, among others, offers profound insights into the human body's true potential, our bond with the earth, and our connection to the divine. The persecution of the Templars echoes the banishment of the Mithraic traditions in Roman times, the suppression of Gnostic orders, and the eradication of ancient priesthoods and pagan beliefs in the north and beyond. Perhaps not all the Templars were willing to share their treasure, but some were resolved to spread this wealth of knowledge to the many. It was this wealth of information that scared the powers that be so much. This was the knowledge of human energy and its true potential, a direct connection to God, the light, the fire. With this sacred fire in mind, a little-known symbol of the Knights Templar is worth mentioning: the flaming salamander. In esoteric and hermetic studies, the flaming salamander is considered an elemental being, a nature spirit that lives and indeed flourishes in the flames of fire. What is of interest here is that the salamander, an amphibian and lizard-like creature at home in both water and on land, is fully capable, if required, of regrowing and regenerating whole limbs, and even substantial parts of their central nervous system and heart. Being at home in both water and on land, the salamander symbolizes a connection to the physical and spiritual realms, with the land representing the material world and the waters symbolizing the spiritual sphere. This duality of water and earth also represents the waking world of appearances and the nocturnal world of dreams and visions. Thus, the humble salamander highlights the connection between the regenerative energy and access to the divine, sacred, and secret realms of the human psyche. The fact that the flaming salamander is considered by hermeticists and esotericists as an elemental being, a being that lives and thrives in the flame, makes perfect sense when we see the flame as the light, the universal fire, the sacred energy that pervades all things. This flame, fire, light, and energy is, at its core, regenerative and transformational. The salamander is a perfect symbol of regeneration and rebirth. It regrows its tail and limbs by bathing in the metaphorical fire of life, the light. The Templars were well aware of this sacred energy and chose the salamander as their emblem to represent the rejuvenating and rehabilitating powers of the fire, the light, the sacred universal force. With this considered, the almost mystical regenerative abilities of the modest salamander align perfectly with the human body's capacity for renewal and regeneration when working with the creative energy. The same bioelectrical forces that enable the miraculous regeneration of the salamander can be felt and experienced when we conserve and circulate the powerful and rejuvenating life force. And the Templars and Hermeticists knew it.